Welcome back to Area Diesel Service. Today, we're going to bring you a new episode of collaborative content with fellow YouTube creator Moline Dan. Moline Dan is a Minneapolis Moline tractor fan and curator, if you will. He's got a lot of high quality content on his channel working on and fixing up these old relics. Dan is an expert in Minneapolis Moline history, tractor identification, things of that nature. This set of injectors is off of one of his machines. It is a Minneapolis Moline G950. Appears to have been in production from 69 through 71. This particular machine is the diesel variant. I believe there was a gasoline and I believe there was a liquid propane G950. Drop it in the comments if you know that to not be true. I'm just going off of the Googlers. As I understand it, this is a D451-6 Minneapolis Moline manufactured engine, 451 cubic inches, 6 cylinders. That's about 7.4 liters for you metric fans, rated at about 100 horsepower, I believe. So in that era, pretty beefy unit, right? This was a pretty substantial tractor for 1970. Minneapolis Moline kind of had the following of leading the horsepower race, right? So this was a big dog in its day. I think they were building some private label, so you may have an identical tractor under the Oliver name. And this was early on in the acquisitions and mergers of all these different tractor companies that I think ultimately led to AGCO, or Alice Chalmers, White's, Oliver's, Minneapolis. I don't know the whole list, but they were all kind of flocking together back in the days. This is a yellow one, Minneapolis Moline G950 diesel, Minneapolis Moline manufactured engine, utilizing a Bosch fuel injector. And that's why we are gathered here today. I don't know the entire backstory of this engine for Moline Dan. I know he's been doing some repairs. I know I caught some clips recently of this thing running, and it didn't sound real good. So I don't know exactly the level of diagnostic work they've done. I think he said it's got some blow-by, so it might be a little tired.
It's got quite a bit of blow-by.
We're going to look past that for now and see if we can work with what we have, try and make this thing run just a little bit better. A couple of things potentially noteworthy. I don't know what was done cleaning prior to these being sent in. I don't think they were numbered, so we don't know which hole they came out of. But the two I've got on the right, and you can see the nozzle, the very tip of the injector. It's pretty clean on that injector. And the one next to it is also fairly clean. So we've made note of that. The third injector, carboned and sooty, but this one is still kind of wet. We don't know what hole that came out of in the engine. We're going to call it number 3 for here. It's got carbon and soot, but it's also still moist. And then 4, 5, and 6, sooted up, but relatively dry. I don't know that that necessarily indicates anything, but we're always looking for clues when we get into this stuff, especially when we got one that is not it's not running perfectly and we don't exactly know the culprit. We're just paying attention and looking out. A lot of times these would come in and it would just say, please rebuild. And they would go straight into cleanup and tear down, go through them, new nozzles, calibrate the opening pressure, and that would be it. Because of the circumstances for Moline Dan and his drivability issues, what we're going to do with these is go straight to the pop tester before we do anything, before we take them apart, before we do a visual internal inspection. We're going to go straight to the pop tester and see if we can detect anything on the pop tester and see if any of those findings potentially correlate to the different conditions of nozzle tips. We'll take this stuff back into the fuel shop. We'll get set up in the injector room and we'll bring you back, let you know if we can find something there. We've got the first injector chucked up in the pop tester right here. This is what we're going to call number 1. This is one of the injectors that had kind of the clean appearing nozzle. We're going to kind of bleed off, make sure we've got air out of the pop tester, open the valve, and check the pop-off pressure, nozzle opening pressure, about 125, which is exactly spot on. So these should open, the nozzle should lift off the seat at 124 bar, which is about 1800 psi. So nozzle opening pressure is good. I don't know if you can pick it up on camera, but I've got a good chatter coming out of the nozzle, and the spray pattern doesn't look too bad. I don't see anything necessarily wrong with this injector. I don't have a bunch of fuel puking out the return. We're going to say that it tests okay, and we're going to move on, see if we can't find a smoking gun here. Number 2, set up in the pop tester. Kind of a purge and bleed, build some pressure. Also spot on, 125. Got a pretty good chatter about it, and the fuel injection pattern looks to be pretty good. Don't see anything wrong with number 2. We've got number 3 loaded up. So this one showed carbon and also kind of looked like it was wet. We'll see if we find any difference on this one. Oh yeah, opening pressure. It doesn't really read an opening pressure. It's somewhere around 110, 120. But we'll bring you in close and we'll show you the pattern. So we got no chatter, and she's just a gushing. I mean, just dumping. There was a little chatter. We'll try and give her the beans. No bueno. So there's one issue. I think Dan might have had the head off 2 cylinders, so maybe the 2 injectors that are cleaned up was from when he was doing those repairs or whatever he did there. So we had 2 that were clean, they ran off okay. The one that was kind of wet and sooty, definitely bad. And then these are more what I'm going to say is what you would generally see. There's carbon on it, but there's going to be carbon on it. It's not wet. It's not super built up. It just looks like a dirty old injector, which is what you would expect to see. Bleed her off. Open the valve. We are opening right on. I've got chatter coming out of the injector. The spray pattern is decent. I would say it's not ideal, but I don't think it's something you'd pick up from the seat of the tractor. You know, not like the last one. It was junk. So I think this would have been fine in the engine. Number 5, normal-ish looking, carbon covered. Bleed the pop tester off, open the valve. Again, right there at 125 bar. So we're getting a good opening pressure. But if you can see that, there it chattered and atomized. And there it just hammered. Chattered that time. Kinda did that time. If you don't hit her too hard, it'll chatter and atomize. But if you lay on it, you can see it. No good. number 6. Bleeder off, open it up. It's on the high side, it's about 130 bar. Chatter is good, spray pattern looks good. So out of the 6, we got 1 boat anchor and 1 that's not far from it. We'll get this rig torn down. Maybe we'll grab that one that was super bad, do a little autopsy here. All right, so we've got the worst injector in the fixture here. We're going to go in after it, see if there's anything that we really see. Tight. Try and keep this stuff in order for the technician that actually knows what they're doing and how to rebuild these. First thing we do is pop the nozzle nut off, and that'll expose the nozzle. Just want to make sure we're not going to lose anything else. Okay, then the nozzle comes out, and right there is the pintle out of the nozzle. We may need you a microscope to see it, but I think I see some issues there. Nothing horribly. I don't see any significant scarring. I don't feel any burrs or boogers. All right, so we're going to pop the other side off. Generally, if there's an issue, it's in the nozzle. This side just contains the opening pressure adjustment springs. I don't see anything glaring or obvious there. All right, so this is the kind of the adjustment. You can see there's a jam nut and an adjuster here, right? That goes down, pushes on this spring. The harder you push down on the spring, the harder it is for the nozzle to lift up off the seat, and that's what sets the opening pressure. The gasket in there, and then control valve, control rod. It's got some schmoo on the end of it. Again, really no smoking gun there. It's got a little bit of corrosion, a little bit of roughness, but it's not something that is in a machine fit. It's not going to cause it to hang up. So nothing glaring there. We will take another one of the ones that tested good. We'll take one of those and have a look at the nozzle and kind of compare it to the one that was so bad. Number 3 back together, and then I think 1 and 2 tested good. Okay, so we'll grab number 1. Yeah, so that nozzle looks a lot better. It's actually got some schmoo on it, but I can't pick an edge with my fingernail there. And it doesn't take much. I know we've had some videos before where we did these. If that nozzle hangs up in there at all, it's done. Delivery goes to hell. So we'll throw this one back together. We'll pull the nozzle back out of 3. Try and give you a super tight shot of what we're seeing with it. I don't know if we can get in close enough, but right on the ramp, right on the ceiling, it's just got where it's been hammered open and closed a million times, right? It's just taken form to the seat. Fuel comes down through these ports. When the pump injects it, it comes down through those ports, and that pressure operates on that ramp to lift it up off the seat, and that's when the fuel gets injected. That ramp may have been holding it open or was letting fuel bypass, but this is what fails, the nozzle. The rest of it's a boat anchor. We're going to slap it back together. We'll put it back on the pop tester and see if the delivery didn't change somehow. Click. We are going to run this back down in where we found it. We did not mess with the opening pressure adjustment. Usually when you're pop testing these after you've rebuilt them, you would leave this cover off, right? And then as you put them on the pop tester, if your opening pressure is wrong, take the jam nut loose, run the adjusting screw down in to tighten up the spring tension. So this is the smoking gun reassembled with the original parts back in the pop testers. Purge it out, bleed it off. Look at that. We're gonna open up the valve. Oh, there it went lazy again. Opening pressure about 130. It's doing good most of the time. I had one bad one in there. Sometimes just dicking with them a little bit, freeze them up. Right, maybe there was a hunk of junk, or maybe we turned the nozzle, turned the pintle in the nozzle and moved it back to a happy spot perhaps. But nonetheless, when they start doing that, they're on the way out. These are all going to get the full service. We're going to put them back like we found them. We'll write up a work order for the fuel shop. We'll let somebody that actually knows what they're doing clean these up, put new nozzles in them, bring them back in here, set the opening pressure. Maybe we'll bring you back for some of that. If not, we'll meet you back at the parts counter and we'll wrap this one up. So we'll see you soon. Here you have it. 6 rebuilt injectors for Moline Dan and his G950 Minneapolis Moline tractor. We didn't show you the process on the full rebuild for these, but you've seen it before. Cleaned up, disassembled, inspected, new nozzles, and then recalibrate. You saw in our inspection video how these are adjusted, right? You're just tightening the spring pressure against the fuel pressure to determine at which point the nozzle opens. These were rebuilt, brand new nozzles, and then recalibrated to open at the correct pressure. Atomization, spray pattern confirmed to be perfect, as one would expect with brand new nozzles. We're going to get them shipped out to Moline Dan's. The $1 million question, as per usual, what did this cost? 3 hours labor at $125 an hour. That's $375 in labor. And then new nozzles, couple of gaskets were about $50 a piece in parts. That's $300, so $675 over a set of 6. That's $112.50 per copy. That is the bill. That's relatively average. Sometimes you find the nozzles to be considerably more expensive. Sometimes they're less expensive. These, I would say, were about middle of the road. That's it for this small project. We're going to get these boxed up and shipped out to Dan today. If you want to see the results on what happens when he installs these, please go over there, give him a like or subscription, let him know that we sent you. This thing had a little bit of blow-by, so we're hoping that with a properly running engine, maybe the rings will wake up, come unstuck, maybe this thing will come back to life. Head over there and check him out. In the meantime, if you need anything from us, please don't hesitate to let us know. You can call us at 800-637-2658. You can log on to our website at areadieselservice.com, where you can chat instantly with a diesel engine expert through the button in the bottom corner of your screen. You can drop us an email at parts@areadiesel.com, or you can stop by any of our locations in Iowa, Illinois, or Indiana. If you do reach out to us and let us know that you learned of us through our YouTube efforts, we'll drop you a hat or some gloves, fender cover, whatever swag we're peddling at the time. Just let us know that you came to us from YouTube and we'll hook you up with something. That's it. Thanks for watching.